Glad you can make it. I know you wanted some Wuthering Waves. Maybe you've been playing. I didn't really look that deep into it, but yes, good. Good to see you. And everybody else that is also here to see us finish. Grinding? Yeah, I think I read that you were trying to get co-op. I don't know if you got that already, but it looks fun. The last time I actually tried to get into MiHoYo was with Star Rail, and then I kind of quit. Not that the game was bad or anything, I just kind of like got busy. I'm open to it, especially since you guys seem to really like it. Okay. How do you beat the? It's literally just Genshin 2 allegations. That's what a lot of people are thinking, I'm sure. I did watch Asmon go play a bit of it. Like, the combat looked pretty nice, but that was like in early access and stuff. Oh, at the moment, not really. Well, that's to be expected. But if it's a better Genshin, then maybe. Because it's not like I hated the combat or anything. It was actually quite fun. I just, I don't know what happened. I think I got busy too. I think Arknight stole my attention. And then I got busy with like literally everything else. So I am not opposed to giving it another try. The combat, the movement, lore vastly different. I want to call it a better Genshin out of respect for both games. Okay, understandable. I like that. Respect the unique qualities of each game for an interesting experience. Variety is key. You say it, Mia. Alright then. So, I assume everybody else is just here and being comfy, so I'll go ahead and add our points and then we shall begin. And if it is just you and me, oh, Ranmaru's also here. Hello. Okay, I got scared. I thought she went all in. Yeah, imagine that being the first one here. That is in fact commendable. Here, I'll give everybody their points for the day. This is your stipend. Maybe you can get some fresh ramen with it. It's okay, you are a smart investor. Wow, oh. Let's go. Me putting half my money into the odds. Yeah. I don't think I've lost one yet, but saying that means I'm gonna go lose one. Okay. So let's do this. What? Oh. Alright, let's go read the last part that we just saw. The door is not locked. The moment he enters the house. Well, let me move myself a little bit more away. I don't want to cover on the crucial details or anything like that. Okay. The moment he enters the house, stale air, and also the music's too happy. Stale air thick with mold and dust fills Koji's nostrils. It is the unmistakable smell of a house that has long lain untouched. There's also a faint hint of something else in the air. Something reminiscent of damp sewers and fetid cisterns. Flipping the light switch does nothing. The power must be cut off. Koji uses his cigarette lighter to illuminate the immediate area. In the thick dust covering the floor, he sees several brand new trails of footprints that could only have been made by shoes. Fuminori's. Koji decides to follow suit and dispense with courtesy. He enters with his shoes on. The lighter's flickering flame pushes back the deathly silence and gloom of the house. Koji is surprised to see evidence of life remaining. Everything from furniture to tableware and appliances. Nothing seems to be missing. Hello and welcome. Just in time. Not too late at all. There you go. You just barely made the cut, so I gotta make sure you have your gamba monies. Easy, and you just double it just like that, you know? Yeah, I didn't miss too much. We just started. Nothing seems to be missing. You know, it's this kind of background really spooks me because I could imagine actually walking into a house that looks this dimly lit. Actually, I don't want to imagine that. This is terrifying to me. The thickness of the dust suggests that the house has been empty for several months, which means that the owner must have left them little more than clothes on his back. Could he have gone on a long vacation? The calendar in the den is still turned to April. Empty and silent, yet still exhibiting signs of life that was once lived there. The house reminds Koji of a passenger ship entombed at the bottom of the sea. In the graveyard-like quiet, a sinister thought suddenly enters his mind. I think I remember this exact story too. I don't know if that's what they're talking about, but there's a real-life story where somebody really got trapped at the bottom of the sea. He went into the one room with an air pocket in it, and he stayed there for several days until divers pulled him out when they were really just trying to collect the bodies. No one is living here, but that does not mean that the owner has left. Maybe he was murdered and his rotting corpse is right under Koji's feet. He finds himself wanting a stronger light. A flashlight in his hand would make him feel much better. Oh my god. Koji follows Fuminori's footsteps to the second floor, where he begins to catch the scent of paper in the stale air. It is a smell of old books, instantly recognizable to anyone who has worked in an antique bookstore or library. The first room on the second floor turns out to be a study. Its towering shelves packed with such a vast amount of books that Koji fears for the stability of the floor. As a medical student himself, he is able to discern at a glance that the study belongs to a medical professional, and a high-level one at that. Judging by the content of the books, a smorgasbord of technical volumes far beyond the simple student's understanding. The owner's interests lie with more than medical research than with medical practice, or clinical practice. Fuminori must have spent most of his time here. The scattered dust suggests that he was searching for something, and the contents of the desk drawers are in obvious disarray. A small pile of books stacked on the side catches his eye. Good gamba, nice. Being next to the desk, they must have been the most frequently read. Their nature sheds some light on the character of the person who worked here. Koji frowns as he examines the 3 books. These aren't scientific texts like the rest, but old, leather-bound Western tomes like the sort you would find in a rare bookstore. The titles are meaningless to him. Trade just sheriffs. I butchered that. Appears to those concerned semiotics. But Ars Magna et Ultima is some kind of treatise on divination. And then there's the Voynich manuscript, which looks like some sort of picture book. When he pages through it, he finds the text utterly incomprehensible. Maybe it's some sort of cipher. Whatever they are, they have nothing to do with medicine. Refuting Koji's earlier guess that this guy was a doctor. I mean, like, is that a Voynich manuscript a real thing? No, let me see. I'm gonna pull up the Voynich manuscript just so we can like look at this together. Alright, where's my window? Yeah, we're gonna decode it on stream right now. Just for context. I'm gonna understand what it even is. Let me put that above the games. For context and for content, the Voynich manuscript. Okay, so this is the picture book they were talking about, right? I've never seen this in my life. Damn, Hans gave him the manuscript. Okay, so we got some plants. I didn't know Sage made an appearance here. That's amazing. Cheripa, hello. Apparently, this picture book here is relevant to the story. So we're trying to decode the manuscript. Exactly. Anytime there's a plant, Sage. That's a lily. And that's a lily pad. Wow. It's a picture book of plants. I'm actually not sure which part is supposed to be. But what's so spooky about this, because it just looks like super relevant, great the book. So which part of it hinted them that this was a cipher, other than somebody who's trying to write about some plants? Hold on, let's go look at this. Do we start seeing some like spooky stuff towards? That looks like a face. Who's that? Do you see that? This looks like a guy with with glasses, and he's balding a little bit. Like his balding looks like an egg drop. So now this is an eye looking into the man. I think this is guy. This is the doctor guy that they were looking for. We're already 2 steps in to the Voynich. And you know what? I can read this. This says coffee. Tell me I'm crazy, but we're getting somewhere. And this is the cello. We're cracking the code. Okay. So this one is gift code. This is Allah. And what does this look like to you guys? Tell me. I don't know about you, but this looks like a mirror. So we're looking into a mirror of a bedroom. He's got some teal walls. This is a clean bed. But what do we see down here? A shadow. Something looming on the bed. And that's right, this does look like... No. You're really close, Flam. But what we're looking at, look, heed my words. Right, heed my words. This is Totoro. It was already in the Voynich manuscript before they ever released the movie. Call it a creed. Heed crafting. And someone else mentioned a hat. Why do you think they typed in hat right next to the thing that looks like a hat? Voynich. Okay, now we're cooking with this one. Why are the leaves? Why do the leaves have zippers on them now? Is that a JoJo reference? These also have eyes. Roses. The flowers were dancing. This is crazy to me right now. Like it's actually going wild. Especially this. I can't believe they already drew Mandragora. From like all the way back whenever this was made. Like, is this where they came up with it? Isn't this Oddish from Pokemon? I don't know. I think everything is like starting to line up now. Like if you are wondering where all of these started coming from, now they got Flowey from Undertale. That's crazy. This one's even smiling. Look at how cute it is. Oh my god. Like, is this a cipher? Is this like a concept art book? Did they even like reference the Voynich manual? Like, I saw it, you know? Well, only Saya is the real one that actually tried to give them some sort of credit. I don't know what to say. Hey, let's go scroll down towards the end and let's go find something truly revolutionary. This shit right here. I don't know about you, but this is an incredible face of an Eggman? Sonic? What? I don't even know what this is. Is this supposed to be like the really early version of Roulette? That's the dude from One Punch Man. Oh my god, I didn't even think about it. Look, there's even several of them. It's all like phases of Eggman. Wait, what's that? Do you see that? Bandai? What does Bandai have to do with all of this? Oh my god. Oh my god. All the pieces are coming together. The music in the background is just perfect, by the way. Like, if we're looking at a lot of weird art, like I feel like a Japanese artist would have made all of these. Like in those like really old like DS drawing apps. Like, he wrote this on a DS, but he printed it. There's no other explanation. The man was ahead of his time. See, that's so like cute right here. I don't even know if that's like art or if this is more of an expression. Yeah, that is like some shit I would make. Yo, oh, they close your eyes, you can't see that. That's too much. I know. Oh my god. I mean, I have to skip to the end for everybody else's eyes. Oh, okay. Now I see why they were like, what is going on here? Like at first we were just at like plants and stuff. Now we're like, am I gonna get banned for this? No, Twitch, stop. This is artistic. Don't can the stream just yet. So now they're having like wait. Notice something really interesting about this book. This is page 84. Is Void manuscript on all games of Twitch? I don't I don't remember it being banned. But come on, look, you see this green that's everywhere? I don't know what this is supposed to be. Or why they have like snakes and ladders, but for like bath water. But it seems like this is like a way of recycling the water so that none of it gets wasted. But you see this green? It's the same kind of green that you could see from this. Is it any coincidence? I think we're actually getting somewhere. Like if you think of the people, the collection of people as the collection of knowledge, it all starts to just come together, doesn't it? This is the passing down of knowledge through Gamer Girl bathwater. Look at that. Oh my god. They are geniuses. Look at the continued spread of information. Getting. Yeah, Mia, tell us, what do you think about the Voynich manuscript? It's a hoax? Does she believe it's a hoax? No. I think that's it. That's all we can get from the Voynich manual. Yep, that's it. That's all we can discern from this. I understand a lot more knowing the source material than if we hadn't looked at it together. Colonel Sanders, herbs and spices until green, good for the sin. That's right. You know, I wish I was as genius as the author of Song of Saya to have thought to add the Voynich manual, because it just makes a lot of sense. Looking down, Koji notices the glint of something black and metallic underneath the chair. Pocket-sized flashlight, quite out of place amongst all these dusty books. Fuminori must have brought it in. I'd like to think so too, but what we do know for certain is that this green bathwater had something to do with all of this. Concealed sage lore? Okay, she said it herself. Well, in relief, Koji exchanges his lighter for the flashlight. Its tiny body emits a powerful white beam that casts away the darkness. His courage restored, he decides to explore the rest of the house. That almost sounded too loud. What's on? Even I was taken aback. Koji notices something strange. Something that was not visible in the lighter's weak flame. The slime. Dark, oily stains are everywhere. The stains are especially thick around the doorknobs and stair banisters. Like someone grasped them with hands and wrapped in greasy cloth. Looking closer, he sees places where slime splashed along the walls, almost as if a wet mop was run violently across the floor. Could Ogai have made these marks? If so, how? Koji begins to feel sick as he imagines a man shambling through the house with slime dropping from his body. Finding the bedroom next to the study, Koji checks the closet on a hunch. He checks the most, suspicious possible place he could have. Okay. He discovers 2 empty suitcases that one would leave behind when going on a long vacation. The sudden chill runs through him. Whoever was living here is still somewhere inside the house. Suppressing the urge to flee, Koji goes back downstairs to check the first floor. If he finds a corpse, he'll have to call the police right away. He might get away with trespassing if he reports it first, but if they find the body later, it'll be awful hard to explain his fingerprints all over the house. How about the fact that there were no fingerprints on the body? Just get out! The flashlight reveals the den to be covered in even more slime than the rest of the house. The sofa looks like it was degraded from the bottom of a swamp. Oh god. In the kitchen, Koji takes one look at the sinks and decides not to get any closer. He doesn't want any more fuel for his imagination. He reaches for the door to the bathroom. A common scene from TV dramas flashes through his head. A body with slit wrists, floating in a bathtub full of water. And there wasn't a movie where a hitman disposes of his victim in a bathtub filled with lye. Koji braces himself for the worst and opens the door slowly. And the last time somebody did that, it wasn't pretty. Then shines his light into the ceramic bathtub that appears from the darkness like a white ghost. Bones. A mountain of bones, black with dry flesh and blood. Koji puts one hand against the wall to steady himself as his legs threaten to buckle. Something is wrong. He realizes as he tries desperately to get his thoughts in order. The bones are too small. And there are too many of them. You remember when I used to have that school bathroom as one of my stream backgrounds? We should take one of these images and make it our background. Wouldn't that be sick? Oh, let me go ahead and turn on the spooky lighting while I'm here. Let's get immersed. Yeah, now I will be sage green as well. Exactly. They aren't human. Oh no, I don't. Wait, do you see that back there? You see this? No, that's just his big shoulder. Okay. After taking several deep breaths to calm himself, Koji enters the bathroom and examines the tub. The bones are piled atop each other like fallen leaves. They appear to be from small animals, perhaps cats or dogs. Even so, the quantity is mind-boggling. Hello, somebody. Well then. You already know what to do. How many bodies would it take to produce this many bones? The bones have all been separated from one another. So it doesn't look like the bodies were just thrown into the tub and left to rot. Each bone was covered with deep grooves, marks left by teeth biting through flesh. Hey! Not rigged. Koji's sanity won't let him consider that the possibility a human could have done this. The owner of this house must have kept some sort of carnivorous animal as a pet. giving it the bones of small animals to eat and disposing of the remains in the bathtub. But why not dispose of the leftovers properly? They could have just been thrown out with the garbage. Or was there something keeping him from leaving the house? The relief Koji felt when he realized that the bones weren't human is once again under attack. In the first place, what the hell was Fuminori doing here? What? What's wrong, Koji? Koji whirls around, his mind revealing Fuminori's expressionless face. You're trespassing. So are you. Koji replies, barely managing to speak over the pounding of his heart. Fuminori pushes past Koji and looks into the bathtub. He doesn't even flinch at the sight of the bones. The friend of mine lives here. I'm just running an errand. What? Who is this person? Where did you meet them? Koji doesn't want to believe that the old, friendly Fuminori could have had contact with the denizen of this house. I'll introduce you one of these days, he says, turning to leave without even a glance at Koji. I owe her my life. Hey, Fuminori. Koji runs after Fuminori. His heart is finally beating normally again. Wait, is this friend of yours the reason you've been acting so strange? Standing in the entrance, Fuminori glares coldly at Koji. Over his shoulder. The utter lack of emotion in his eyes gives Koji pause. You followed me, didn't you? Koji swallows. What can he say? You're starting to bother me, Koji. Don't do it again. Fine. Fuminori walks away without another word, leaving Koji alone at the entrance. Up until this very moment, concern for his friend was still at the forefront of his mind. Now, however, that concern is swiftly giving way to a growing sense of dread. Does the Fuminori he knew no longer exist? Was this person who just stared Koji down an imposter wearing Fuminori's skin? Koji has begun to believe that it might be so. What a nuisance. Why does he insist on interfering? If he only spoke with me to exchange pleasantries, even I could bear it. But now he's sticking his nose into my business just to satisfy his curiosity. Koji is a perfect example of someone who thinks it's always good to take an interest in other people's affairs. He probably thinks that he's doing me a favor by prying into my life. He couldn't be more wrong. If he keeps this up, I might have to find a way to deal with him. Like Saya said, I have to keep my search for Dr. Ogai a secret. Koji could ruin everything. I didn't have time to fully investigate the Ogai residence today. At this rate, it'll probably take several days just to go through the study. Saya didn't believe that I'd find anything to help with the search. But I think there's still a lot to explore. Who knows what I'll discover? The problem is Koji. He knows about the house now. Will he make things difficult? Excuse me. A hair-raising voice calls as I'm about to pass through my gate. Suppressing a shudder, I put on a fake smile and turned to face the writhing mass of round flesh that is staring me with bulging eyes. Good evening. Are you just getting home? Yes, I am. Of course. This is my next door neighbor Suzumi, a middle-aged painter, I think, who spends all day home while his wife works. I haven't had much contact with him since the accident. Why is he suddenly talking to me now? Have you gotten used to living alone? Yeah, thank you for your help. I know it must be very difficult, but you're still young. You have to try to move on with your life. Yeah. What is this? Did he just stop me just to deliver a lecture? Yeah, every time. This is like the second person. It's such a big house. It must be hard to take care of everything by yourself. Yes, I suppose it is rather difficult. I'll hire a caretaker. Didn't your father have one? I'm still a student. I can't really afford the expense. I see. The flash beast undulates foully, as though it still has something to say. The sight of it is driving me close to the edge. Even so, don't you think you should at least tend to your yard? I'd be happy to help. No, thank you. I'll manage on my own. Now I get it. He's worried that the unsightliness of my house might diminish the image of his own. Damn snob. I flash a token smile and retreat behind the safety of my gate. I can feel Suzumi's eyes boring into my back all the way to the front door. Why won't everybody just stay out of my life? I just want to live together with Saya, alone where no one will ever bother us. Suzumi Yosuke sighs in annoyance as he watches the neighbor boy retreat into his house. What's with his attitude? Even while talking, he kept his eyes averted, as if to avoid looking at something so repulsive. Has he always been such an unpleasant young man? No, of course not. When his parents were still alive, he had been a normal youth, a little shy, but sensitive and caring. There must be the stress of his sad situation. If this continues to build, he might start to develop serious mental problems. Yeah, he just might. Or is it too late already? Yosuke wonders as he gazes wearily at the Sakisaka yard. Can't relate. Even during his dinner, Yosuke can't shake the neighboring house from his mind. What's wrong, honey? You look like something's bothering you. Yeah. I saw the young man from next door today. Fuminori? I just had to say something about his yard. I know. I wish he'd at least do something about that smell. This thing coming from the Sakisaka house grows worse by the day, and the Suzumi family is at its wit's end. Can there be a dead cat in his bushes? He must notice the smell coming from his own yard. You know, I bet it smells like flowers and roses when he walks by them. It's like, yeah. It looks nasty outside, but at least it smells kind of great.
生ゴミをそのまま庭に捨てているんじゃあるまいな。
Maybe he's leaving his garbage out there.
そんな、いくらなんでもそこまで。
He wouldn't.
いや、今の様子だとやりかねん。一日中ずっと雨戸を閉め切って何をやってるのかもわからない。どういう暮らしをしているのやら。
Nah, I wouldn't put it past him. Who knows what he's doing all there all day with the storm shutters closed? What kind of life is he leading?
お兄ちゃん、頭おかしくなっちゃったのかな。
Did he go crazy?
これヒロミ、そういう言い方はダメよ。
No, Hiromi, you mustn't say things like that.
いや、あれは本当にちょっとどうすぎてる。ひょっとしたら変質狂か何かかもしれんな。
Honestly, with the way things are going, I'm starting to wonder if he's gone paranoid or something.
大丈夫なのそれ。
Will he be alright?
早く自覚して医者にでも行ってもらわんことにはなんともな。
Unless he gets help soon. Who knows? Oh. You know, this room starts to look like a nice little like jungle hut now. The seconds crawl by, each tick of the clock compounding my agony. When I returned from the Okai residence, I was greeted by a silent, empty home. Saya had vanished without leaving any clue as to her whereabouts. Isn't it rare for her to go for walks at night? I have often gone with her, however, such outings always take place in the middle of the night. When no one is around, it never lasts for more than 2 hours. Right now, it's 5 in the morning. Soon the sky will begin to show the first light of dawn. Even if she left right before I returned, she's still gone for almost half a day. I can't sleep. I can only wait in anguish. I tried to distract myself by painting more rooms, but I couldn't concentrate on the work. If I had known this would happen, I would have left the Ogai house sooner. I wish I hadn't wasted time on Koji. If Saya doesn't return, the thought makes me want to tear out my hair. After its long absence, the terror of true loneliness is too much to bear. At last, the cowbell chimes, and Saya's long-awaited "I'm home" rings from the bottom of the stairs. Yeah. I should let him borrow my Fumo. I'm never alone now that I have her. As I jump out of my bed in relief, all of the stress that has been built up through the night is released in a wave that threatens to sweep me off my feet.
疲れた。やっぱり往復すると遠いな。
So tired. Saya sighs as she climbs up the stairs. I knew the trip would be so hard.
さや、一体どこに？
Saya, where have you? My question trails off as I notice the thick bundles of papers that she's carrying under her arms.
それは
What are those?
文則のカルテとか手術の記録。今日は古巣の病院に行ってきたの。
Your medical charts and surgery records. I went back to the hospital today. Saya drops her bundles on the floor, sending paper flying everywhere, then pulls her favorite cushion over and collapses onto it, stretching luxuriously.
こんな夜中に T 大から歩いて戻ってきたのか。
You walked back? All the way from the hospital in the middle of the night?
ごめんね。本当はもっと早く帰れると思ってたんだけど、調べ出したらキリがなくて。
Sorry, she says, skillfully gathering the scattered papers together. I meant to come back sooner, but there were so many files to go through.
結局全部持ち出してきちゃった。重かった。
So I just decided to bring everything. It was so heavy. Maybe it's just exhaustion, but I'm not understanding a word Saya is saying.
だからそんなもの持ってきてどうするつもりなんだ？
What are you planning to do with all of this?
どうするって、もちろん調べるのよ。うちで時間かけてじっくり。
What do you mean? I'm gonna study it, of course, she replies, holding one MRI photograph after another to the light. I'll have plenty of time to go over it here.
あら、 これは要チェックかな。あとはそうなんだ。なんだかな。
At first, we think she's just playing around, but the occasional mutters of, I better check this one. And, oh, I see. Well, that was silly of them. And though, like, as she separates the photos into a growing pile beside her, make me think that this might not be a joke after all.
君わかるのかこういうの。
Do you understand this stuff?
パパにいろいろと教わったから。なるほどね。そういうこと。
I learned a lot from Dad. She flashes me a grin, then returns to the papers. So that's how it
これ
is.
じゃあいつまで経っても直せないよね。
No wonder why it can't be fixed.
直せないのか。
It can't?
人間のお医者さんじゃね。
Not by a human doctor. I can't tell if she's being serious. Wait, is the guy also a flesh beast?
私でもまだちょっと難しいかな。いろいろと試してからでないと。
Even for me, it'll probably be tough, she says offhandedly, even as her hands continue to shuffle the papers. I'll have to experiment first. Watching more closely, I realize that her eyes are scanning each page rapidly. So rapidly, in fact, I was unable to notice it at first. Yo, Saya's locked in. Could Saya actually be reading my
なあ
charts?
さや。
Hey, Saya. Yeah? She answers coolly, looking up from the
今日
charts.
はもう疲れたし寝ないか。
I'm tired. Let's go to bed.
ふみのりがそうしたいなら
Sure.
そうする。
Saya replies in a grin, if that's what you want. Saya tosses aside the papers we were sorting, then leaps on me and begins to tear off my clothes.
おい。
Hey,
ねえ、寝る前に一回だけ。ね、いいでしょ？
come on. Just once before bed, okay?
まあさや。
Hey,
こう毎日続けてじゃ体に毒じゃないのか。
don't you think it's unhealthy to be doing this every day? Every day?
ふみのり、
Hmm?
どこか具合が悪いの？
Are you sick?
いや、僕は別に
No,
ちゃんと大人の体になってるし平気なんだけど。
my body's all grown up, but you're...
平気だよ。
Don't worry. She laughs playfully as she pushes me on the bed, the familiar sweet sensation of her weight and skin rendering me helpless.
平気なわけないだろう。今まで否認もしてないってのに。
But I'm worried. We haven't used any contraception.
ふみのりはさ、さやに子供産ませるの嫌？
Fuminori, she whispers. You don't want me to have your children? How can I respond to that?
いやも何も。さやみたいに小さい体じゃ無理だって。
It's not that. Your body's too small. Pregnancy is a serious burden, you know.
ふみのりが心配してることって割と的外れなんだけど。
That's not really something you have to worry about. Saya seems unsure how to reply, but not because she doesn't understand what I said. Rather, the bemused look on her face makes it seem as though I'm the one who's not getting it.
でもそれってふみのりがさやのことを大事に思ってくれてるからなんだよね。それはそれで嬉しい。
But I know you're just thinking of me, she says suddenly, her smile glowing with innocence. So I'm happy. By the time I break the spell of her angelic smile, Saya has undone my belt and is removing my pants.
なあおい。だ
Guys,
からさや。
don't report the stream, okay? They're just holding hands. Come on, Saya.
大丈夫。じゃあ今夜は
Relax.
ふみのりが心配しないような方法
Yeah,
にしてあげる。
they're just locking arms, she says teasingly. Tonight, I'll do it so you don't have to worry. Shh, okay. As she finishes, she looks up at me, smiling like she just pulled the greatest prank of her life. Okay, guys, it was just a prank.
これだったら海のりだって心配ないでしょ。
See? You don't have to worry if I do it like this.
いや、まあ。
No. Well. Hey yo, hand holding prank? Gone sexual? What am I supposed to say to that?
ねえ、ダメだった？こういうのだと
Hey,
気持ちよ
was
く
it
な
bad?
い？
It didn't feel good? Hearing the sudden nervousness in Saya's voice, I hastily stammer.
そんなことない。十分に良かった。
Of course it felt good.
でもさや、何もあんなもの飲み込まなくたって。
You didn't have to do that.
そんな。あれはさやにちょうだいよ。
What? But I want it. Suddenly distraught, Saya clings onto me like a child who's just had their candy
海
stolen.
のりのは一滴だって残さずに欲しい。さやの中に出してほしいの。
I want you inside me.
中にって。
Inside you? So does Saya really want to bear my child? I'm not averse to the idea. I still think it might be too early, of course. But there isn't much point in worrying about my reputation now. Assuming that Saya and I will be left alone, I even welcome it.
海のりは嫌？
You don't like it? She gazes up to me pleadingly. How can I resist?
嫌なんかじゃないさ。さやさえそれでいいのなら、
I
僕だって。
do like it. As long as you're okay with it, so am I. Saya smiles with relief and burrows contentedly into my chest.
海のり大好き。
I love you, Fuminori, she purrs softly. With her body draped over mine, I became even more aware of how light and delicate she is. Can this tiny girl and I live as husband and wife? I feel the pang of self-loathing at the question. How can I still be so afraid after all that's happened? Saya's feelings are so earnest. How can I not accept them? I need to resolve once and for all to rid myself of the useless trappings of morality. Saya and I are all that matters. There's no point in worrying about what the others think anymore. Although, I suppose I should still talk to Saya's guardian, of course. I need to find Dr. Ogai as soon as possible. Hey, Dr. Ogai, by the way. Would you mind? By the time I drift to sleep in exhaustion's comforting embrace, all doubts about Saya's actions have vanished from my mind. Whatever the case, all that matters is that she's returned to me. Two o'clock for Suzumi Yosuke. This is the most fulfilling time of day. I don't think I have a particular time of day that just feels especially great, to be honest. After seeing his wife and daughter off, taking care of the morning chores, and eating a leisurely lunch, it's finally time to sit down at his easel. He's not a particularly popular painter, and he would hold an exhibition if he were hurting for money. However, the design work he does on the side ensures that there's always enough to support his lifestyle. But I'm honestly saying, when I get home and I eat my ramen, I just want to stay there forever, and I don't want to go to sleep, but I have to. Raz, hello. It is the fruit game. Yes. Okay, so you know, see, we just went through the part where Koji goes through the whole apartment, finds Fuminori, and he's like, "Yeah, what you doing?" Then they go back. Fuminori sees his neighbor, the painter. This is the one. And Fuminori and Sai held some hands. Alongside the salary his wife earns working for a magazine, they're able to pay for their mortgage, send their daughter to school, and still have plenty left over. Yosuke's life is perfect, leisurely and absent of want. Why are they giving him backstory all of a sudden? Yeah, it was very crazy. He loves his house, considering it a symbol of his success. When he mows the lawn, polishes the windows and floors, and cleans the kitchen, toilet, and bath, he feels the same joy as he does when washing his own body. What is this grotesque art that he's drawing right here? Just as he knows the length of his fingernails and the time since his last meal, he knows everything about his home condition, the status of every door, the freshness of every flower, the amount of ice in the ice tray, every last detail. This is his pride. And when he sits in his studio, smelling the turpentine and knowing that each element in his house is in perfect order, he feels the ultimate satisfaction. While trying to find the right combination of paints on his palette, he suddenly feels thirsty, but soon remembers that there isn't much orange juice left in the refrigerator. That's what I'm saying. He does need a new hobby. In fact, it's also about time to stock up on bath additive and powdered soap. He could get everything at the supermarket when he goes to shop for dinner. It'll probably be quite heavy. Now then, where should I leave off to go shopping? As he ponders this dilemma, he heads downstairs to the kitchen. Just then, a breath of air tickles the back of his neck, bringing him to a halt in the middle of the hallway. A breeze. Impossible. Every window in this house is closed. Yosuke shut them himself during his morning cleaning. Yo? Yosuke enters the living room, searching for the source of the breeze. Something stinks. It's the pungent smell of fetid swampland that emanates from the Sakisaka house. The window facing the yard next door is open, its curtains bellowing deucelessly in the gentle breeze. There's a hole in the glass next to the lock. It looks strange, like it was melted by some chemical instead of broken. Someone must have reached through the hole to unlock the window. I think I would be terrified that they're using thermite or something to break through my door like that. Yosuke stands paralyzed, his heart pounding with anger and fear. He listens carefully but hears nothing. Perhaps the intruder has already finished his business and left. Get shot. Thank you for following. That jump scared me, but thank you. Your sins have been forgiven.
Kiss Shot 96.
Yosuke coming and hid.
Welcome to the crew.
Nearby.
Guarn latest follower.
Yosuke realizes that
Sins
his still
absolved.
wet palette knife
Get it twisted.
is in his right hand. He must have forgotten to put it aside before going downstairs. He stares numbly at the knife for a moment and decides it's not enough protection. Instead, he grabs the ashtray sitting on top of the table. Made of thick solid glass, it's big and heavy enough to serve as a weapon. The home that he thought of as part of himself now seems utterly alien. Keenly aware of the thumping of his heart, Yosuke looks around the living room and sees little that could be used as a hiding place. The intruder must have either gone to the guest room or through the dining room to the kitchen. The kitchen is close to the stairs. If there had been movement, Yosuke would have noticed it when he came down, which means that the guest room is most likely the place. He shuffles over to the guest room and prepares to slide it open. But what is this stench? Could the breeze only carry something so foul? It's as if the odor is coming from inside the room. He readies his ashtray and throws open the door. Okay. The straw-matted Japanese-style room is empty. There is a closet, but nobody could fit in there. So the intruder already left. Yosuke relaxes, the exhaustion of sudden relief coming over him. And that's when something seizes his ankle. The instant he freezes in shock, his leg is yanked from under him, sending him crashing to the floor. Stars explode behind his eyes as his head smacks against the door rail. The hand, if it can even be called that, wrapped around Yosuke's ankle, extends all the way back from beneath the living room sofa. There are barely 5 centimeters between the sofa and the floor. Whatever's hiding there, it can't possibly be human. Before screaming, Yosuke can regain his footing. Countless hand-like appendages seize his arms and legs, rendering him helpless. Calm down. Don't be scared. As the hideous voice burbles in his ear, something cold and soft crawls atop him. Yosuke can't even scream. His terror is so great. It won't hurt. Don't be scared. It won't hurt. Thin tube-like appendages penetrate his eyes, his ears, and nose, wriggling deep into his skull. Right before the sensation drives himself mad, Yosuke loses consciousness. Be not afraid. Yo, Fuminori. The fruits of my labor, am I right? Thank you for taking time to see us, Koji says. It should have been me. Is this what happened last night? Koji says, his humble bow concealing his surprise at the doctor's youth. Even without her light makeup, she wouldn't look a day over 30. She must have been quite talented to be a leading neurosurgeon at such a young age.
いいのよ。あなたたちみたいな人が来てくれたのは私としてもありがたいところだし。
Don't worry about it. I was hoping somebody like you would come along. Her friendly smile has none of the calmness one might expect from her sharp, refined beauty.
はじめまして。崎坂文則くんの主治医の丹保です。
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Dr. Tanbo. Sakisaka Fuminori is attending physician.
文則の友人で殿浩二と言います。
I'm Fuminori's friend, Tono Koji. This is Tsukabayo. Yo gives a quick bow, her expression apologetic. When they arrived at the T University Medical Center and asked to see Fuminori's doctor, Koji and Yo had been prepared for a rejection. They hadn't expected the ease in which her request was granted.
崎坂くんの件について話が聞きたいっていうことだけど、それは私の方でも同じでね。
You say you want to know what's wrong with him. Well, so do I. I'm sorry.
彼、一昨日の診察に来てくれなかったのよ。留守電に入れた伝言にも返事がないし。
He didn't come for his checkup 2 days ago. I tried calling his home, but there was no answer. 2 days ago, the same day Fuminori was searching that abandoned house. Koji frowns, wondering what was so important enough for him to blow off his appointment.
彼、学校ではどんな様子？
What is he like at school?
どうもこうも。もうめちゃくちゃです。
He's totally messed up. Seeing Yo's shoulders jerk out the corner of his eye, Koji regrets not choosing his words more
事故の
carefully.
前とまるで人が違ったみたいに見えます。
Since the accident, he's been like a completely different
僕
person.
たちもいろいろとどうしていいかわからなくて、それで今日は先生の話を伺えたらと。
We have no idea what to do, so we thought that talking to you might help.
あなたたちも医大生？
Are you medical students too? She asked out of nowhere.
はい。
No? Yeah, well, yeah.
彼のカルテ見てみたいと思う。
Would you like me to see his chart?
見せてくれるんですか、そんなもの。
I don't think so. My guess not. This also seems like it was quite a bit ago. You'd really show it to us. Koji replies, incredulous. Hi, Mal. Hello, nice to see you too.
そう思った人がいる
Tanbo
みたいなのよ。
regards him silently for a
それも
moment.
病院には無断でね。
Someone wanted to see it, and without the hospital's permission.
おとといの晩、この病院に誰かが押し入ってね。保管庫から咲坂くんのカルテを盗んでいったの。
Oh, there's no HIPAA, I guess, when there are no records to go over. You were too young for this game. Did you finish it? That's yeah. Oh my god, that's awesome. I wish I saw this earlier. Yeah. I mean, this is a wholesome VN, so I don't know about... I mean, I would expect you to be fine. That'd be strange. His files are stolen from the archives 2 nights ago.
本当ですか？
What? She stares hard at the astonished students, then shakes her head with a tired smile.
まあ、あなたたちは無関係そうね。ちょっと安心したわ。
Well, it doesn't look like you two are involved. That's a relief.
当たり前です。
Of course we aren't.
でも、犯人は咲坂くんの容体に興味があるか、それとも彼の治療記録を消したかったのか。
However, the culprit must have had an interest in his condition and wanted to erase his
いず
records.
れにせよ、彼に関わりのある人間としか思えないわ。
Either way, I can only assume it was someone close to him.
はあ。
I see. And yeah, this is an interesting visual novel of all things. Maybe it's because Saya looks so cute on the cover. I mean, it is a cute slice of life after all. An ominous thought flashes through Koji's mind. It couldn't have been Fuminori himself, could it? Koji looked at Dr. Tanbo and finds her staring right back at him, her expression grave. He realizes that she must be harboring the same suspicion.
あなたには他に心当たりはない？咲坂くんの知り合いでそういうことをやりかねないような人。
What do you think? Do you have any idea who might have done it? Perhaps Dr. Tanbo didn't have anyone in mind when she asked, but Koji's thoughts immediately fly to that eerie house to which Fuminori led him.
知り合いだか何なのか自分にもよくわからないんですが、多分医者か医学関係の人で、鴎外っていう。
I don't really know what the relationship is, but someone called a guy, probably a doctor or a... Koji stops speaking as he sees the dramatic change that has come across Dr. Tanbo's expression.
ご存知なんですか？
You know Dr. Ogai?
咲坂くんがその男といつどうやって知り合ったのかわかる？
Do you know when and where Fuminori met that man?
いえ、こっちが知りたいぐらいです。先生、一体何者なんですか？あの鴎外っていう人は。
I didn't... Well, even younger, found it online through a fan forum. Definitely didn't play in front of my family, though. I didn't play in front of my family, too, but they did come into the room and a bit... Oh. Yeah, I would imagine. Did they take away... No, they let you finish it, right? You finished the game. Oh my lord. Nice. That's delightfully devilish. I approve. Do you know when and where Fuminori met that man? No, that's what I'd like to know. Just who is this guy? After remaining silent for some time, Tanbo loses a heavy sigh.
いいわ。その気になれば簡単に調べがつくことだし。鴎外正彦はうちの大学にいた教授よ。
Alright, it's not like you couldn't find out on your own. Ogai Masahiko was a doctor teaching at this
いろいろ
hospital.
と不祥事があって、半年以上前に免職になったけど。
He was dismissed over 6 months ago, however, following certain
不
incidents.
祥事って一体何を？
What incidents? What'd he do?
そこから先は部外者に話せることじゃないわ。どのみち、咲坂くんには何の関係もないことよ。
I can't say anymore, and anyway, it has nothing to do with your friend. Koji has no argument in which to answer Dr. Danbo's flat rejection. However, he can't shake the feeling that this Ogai person is the key to unraveling the mystery surrounding Fuminori.
先生、もしかしたら咲坂文則は刑事事件に関わっているかもしれないんです。
Doctor, he says, making up his mind, Fuminori might be involved in a crime. At this sudden declaration, both Yo and Dr. Danbo raised their
どうい
eyebrows.
うこと？
What do you mean?
彼を訪ねていったっきり行方不明になってしまった人間がいます。もちろん文則は否定していますが。
A friend of ours went missing after going to see him. Fuminori denies any involvement, of course.
それってオミちゃんのこと？
You mean Omi? Koji's unable to bear the shock in Yo's voice.
すまん、つくば。君には言えなかった。
Sorry, Tsukuba, I couldn't tell you. Dr. Danbo's frowning, her expression even more serious than before. My first VN wasn't so lucky since I actually didn't know it was an eroge and was actually playing it while my mom was walking around in the same room.
その大貝という人物が
I wish I
今
was...
文則の関心の焦点になっているらしいんです。
Mm-hmm. You grew up just fine though, so it was okay. Right now, this guy seems to be the center of Fuminori's attention.
彼が何者で、文則が彼の何について探っているのか。それが分かれば少しは事情が見えてくるかもしれません。
If we know who he is and what Fuminori is looking for, we might start to see the whole picture.
お願いです先生。教えてください。この病院で一体何があったんですか？
Please tell us, Doctor, just what happened at this hospital. Dr. Danbo hesitates for some time, refusing to make contact, but she finally shakes her head.
こればかりは私の一存で話せる事柄じゃないの。
I'm sorry, this is not a decision I can make on my own.
先生。
Doctor,
でも少しだけ待って。私は私なりにいろいろと調べてみる。放っておける状況じゃないのはよく理解できたから。
give me some time. I'll do my own investigating now that I know that this is gone. Okay, she's dead.
お願いします。
Please. Koji's out of options. All that's left is to trust this young doctor. It's frustrating, but our friend's rights only go so
お
far.
互い携帯の番号を交換しておきましょう。何か分かったら連絡するわ。あなたたちも何か新しい動きがあったらすぐに私に
Young
教
Mal
えて。
had it rough. My first VN was Conrad, so I couldn't play it out in the open, but certainly the time when enjoying Japanese media was not seen as normal. Definitely not. Even just watching anime was weird. Let's exchange cell phone numbers. I'll call you if I learn anything, and you can call me the moment anything changes.
ええ、わかりました。
Alright. What happened to me? Yosuke's awareness returned slowly, as though rising from a bog. He's cold. No, hot. Something itches like tepid tongues and cold slugs crawling over his skin. What the hell is going on? Timidly, he opens his eyes. What? It's everywhere. The thing that attacked him in his living room, it's everywhere. Terror shatters Yosuke's sanity. He throws up the thing lying on top of him, and his wild flailing sends him crashing to the floor. But is it really the floor? The long, wriggling fibers of what should be the carpet are winding themselves around his fingers. The floor is made out of worms. But since I was in an Asian household, it's not really what that story. Yeah, that ain't it. He tears his limbs free of the worms and tries to stand, but loses his balance and trembles on the floor again. The worms immediately swarm over his body. Where am I? Where did that thing take me? Yosuke crawls across the warm wooden floor towards the only exit from the pulsating room. When he gets outside, however, all he can see is blood, bile, and rotten meat. There is nowhere to run. Wait, no, this is especially worse because he made his house so perfect. This actually looks like the worst possible version, even for a Fuminori. What is this? The most terrifying of all, this hellish place has been the same layout of Yosuke's house. In a half-mad dash, he wanders through the nightmarish mockery of his home. In a small room where his studio should be, he finds an easel made of bones displaying a blood-soaked canvas, like some cruel joke. Everything is exactly where it would be in Yosuke's studio. What do you mean? This looks like a bowl of flowers, and then this one is just like some fruit on a canvas. I don't see what the problem is. And like the room's like in a really clean white. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. His old art was like straight up flesh. I don't know, but what was that? Damn it! Let me out! Let me out of here! Howling, Yosuke lashes out against everything within reach. The easel of bone shatters, driving splinters into his fists. He feels the pain, but does not wake up from the nightmare. If this isn't a dream, then what is it? Yo? Miu Riz? When his strength gives out, Yosuke falls to his knees, sobbing. For the first time in his life, he prays. It should have been me. Level up your game, turn envy into motivation, get it twisted. Just told you to get good. The sound of the door opening and closing grates on his ears. Downstairs, the front door is there. We're home. Yosuke trembles at the blood-curdling sound. Is that thing again? The monster has returned. Daddy, we're home. Where is dinner? Oh, he's not here. Did he go shopping? What can we eat? Yosuke hears the sound of something slimy sloshing its way up the stairs. Even as he cowers in terror, he slides his trembling hand across the floor and grabs one of the bones from the broken easel. The tip of the bone is nice and sharp. If he holds it in both hands and puts his weight behind it, he might be able to use it to defend himself. Honey, are you home? The monster's growls are getting closer. Holding his breath, Yosuke presses his back against the wall next to the door. The pounding of his heart is unlike the thunder in his ears. So loud he fears the creature might hear it. He knows that it will eat him if he finds him again, but it's all he can do to keep from crying. At last the door creaks open. Honey? Oh. Yosuke leaps on the creature as it enters. Fear turning into a roar. His roar into a high-pitched scream. The flesh piece is covered in sludge and foul juices, but before horror can paralyze him, Yosuke brings his bone stick stabbing down. Oh my god. The monster screams as the stake pierces his chest and punches through the other side. It falls back, writhing in agony. The sight of its pain sets Yosuke's blood on fire. I can win. I can kill it. If I finish it up before it enters my head again, I'm safe. Yosuke grabs the bone and twists with all his might. The monster convulses and gurgles, its trembling tentacles reaching up though as though begging for help. Die! 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 Yosuke knocks it to the floor, then brings his heel crashing down on his flopping body over and over again. With each stomp, it grows passive and grows weaker. Then the monster at last stops twitching. Yosuke, panting hard, tears the stake from its corpse and rises to his feet. Daddy? Something squeals. Yosuke turns around to see another smaller monster peeking out for him from the stair landing. There's still one left. His desperate rage-fueled attack was exhilarated and gave him a taste for violence. This one will be easier. It's smaller and weaker. Grinning maniacally, Yosuke raises a stake and moves towards the second creature. The monster flees screaming down the stairs. Not about to let his prey escape, Yosuke roars and gives chase. The thought that killing the monster might end this nightmare feeds his savage bloodlust. When the monster trips and falls in the dining room, Yosuke leaps on top of it and brings the stake crashing down. His bloodlust sated, he pulls it free, then drives it again into the monster flesh once, twice, 3 times, and more, until there's nothing left but shred and pulverized meat. Eventually, the only sound in this house is Yosuke's heavy breathing. He has slain 2 monsters, but the nightmare shows no sign of ending. Yosuke staggers to the front door and goes outside. The sky, the city, everything has gone mad. Twisted shapes, nauseating colors, stinking air. And also you received a bone steak. There is no escape, no end to the nightmare. The last remnant of Yosuke's sanity vanishes like dust in the wind.
こんにちは、おじさん。
Hi, mister. Hi, Chu. Yosuke turns to the sound of the girl's voice. She is standing in front of the house next door, wearing a spotless one piece over her pure white skin. In the midst of this filth-ridden world, she alone glows
お
with
じさん
beauty.
には私がどう見える？
How do I look to you, mister?
ああ、とっても可愛いよ。
You're very cute. Yosuke feels a sudden black luster rise behind. What?
本当？
Really?
じゃあ実験は成功かも。
Then the experiment might be a success. Yosuke walks up, strangely jubilant girl, and brushes his hand against her long, smooth
こ
hair.
んな可愛らしい女の子はこの世界には君一人しかいないんだろうね。
Such a lovely girl. You must be the only one in the whole world.
おじさん？
Mister? She looks up at the man towering over her, perhaps disturbed by his
お
hungry
嬢ちゃん
stare.
おじさんと遊んでくれるかい？
How about we play a game, girl?
いいけど。
Okay, but what are we going to do? The grin parts, Yosuke slipped and he
そ
realized.
りゃもうおじさんが楽しめそうなこと全部さ。
Everything that will please me, of course. That he grabs a girl's collar and tears the white dress wide open. Shock and fear twist the lovely girl's delicate features, stimulating Yosuke's sadism. Even after killing those 2 monsters, the embers of violence still smolder in his heart. Again? And now they have new
いい
fuel to
顔
burn.
だよお嬢ちゃん。おじさんにもっと可愛らしい顔をして見せてくれないかい？
Oh, I like that expression on you. Won't you show me an even prettier one? No, no. The terrified girl flees into the Sakisaka house. Yosuke runs after her, feeling the joy of the hunt.
来ないで！
Even in desperation, she has no hope of outrunning his longer stride. Yosuke charges down the hallway and catches up to her in the kitchen. He grabs her from behind and wrestles her to the floor before she can resist.
話して。そんな、どうしてなの？
だから言っただろう。お嬢ちゃんが可愛らしすぎるからだって。
Let me go. Why are you doing this? Like I said, because you're too cute. Enjoying the sensation of her thin arms struggling futilely against his grip, Yosuke uses his weight to hold her down while ripping off her remaining scraps of clothing.
こんなの嫌！やめて！
No, I don't want this. Stop. Yosuke stares at the smooth, perfect body of the girl flopping beneath him. The thought of violating such an immaculate creature amid the horrors of this twisted world is irresistibly erotic. Yosuke runs his tongue over her stomach and chest, as though preparing to eat her whole, She stiffens and whimpers at the sensation.
こんなはずじゃないのに。
Her tear-choked voice satisfies Yosuke's lust for conquest. The nightmare has violated him, and now he is able to visit the same torment on this innocent girl. Where he was the victim, he is not the victimizer. The release he feels is intoxicating. I haven't even done anything yet. Putting his mouth close to the sobbing girl's ear, Yosuke whispers, "If you're this scared already, how will you scream when I put it in you? Stop. Help me, Fuminori." As always, the sights of the city are on my nerves. Today, however, I don't feel as much hatred as I usually do. Yeah, I have grown more accustomed to my condition, but that is not the reason for today's high spirits. My search of a guy's house has finally borne fruit. Yeah, ain't no way. Deadass. When I pulled all the drawers out of the desk in the study, I found an envelope stuck between the desk and the wall. It must have fallen down off the back of the writing tray. Inside were 3 outdoor photographs. I couldn't recognize the scenery due to my condition, but I'm pretty sure they show 3 buildings. Scrawled at the back of each photo is an address: Nagano Prefecture, M Village; Tochigi Prefecture, S Town; Shizuoka Prefecture, H Town. None of the names is familiar, so it must be way out in the countryside. The photos were all dated more than 10 years ago. I don't know why they were taken or what they mean, but maybe Saya will be able to make sense of them. In any case, this is something even Saya missed while she was living in that house. I wonder how she'll react when I show her what I found. Saya. I wanted so badly to see her. The thoughts of her waiting for me speeds my footsteps. Then I step through the gate. I see that the front door is wide open. This is the second time this has happened. Upon entering the house this time, however, the sound of crying chills my blood. And it's not just here. I hear a low, wet grunting. There's no time to take off my shoes. I race down the hallway, propelled by a terrifying premonition. A monster's in my house and is attacking Saya. The filth oozing from its body spreads across her skin as it moves with animal ferocity. She looks at me with tear-filled eyes and calls my name in a weak, breathless voice. Rage erupts inside me like black lava. The monster stops gorging itself on Saya's body and turns its head to look at me. Surprised by my own composure, I slip past it and grab the meat cleavers sitting next to the sink. Without a moment's hesitation, I slash at the monster's face. It screams and staggers away from Saya. My attack must have blinded it because it flails its tentacles wildly as it tries to drive me away. My bloodlust still unsated, I calmly seize one of the appendages and plunge my weapon twice more into its quivering flesh. The blade enters its body with fascinating ease. Each strike sprays my face with its blood. As I carve the monster to pieces and savor its hideous screams, my mind is finally consumed by rage. No mercy. I'll see this monster suffer for what it's done to Saya. I give myself to the fury, howling at the top of my lungs as I slash and slash and slash. Even after the flesh beast stops moving, I keep slashing until I realize I can no longer feel pain. Cursing myself for killing it so quickly, I stab the cleaver into the floor, snapping it in half. When my thoughts finally begin to regain some cohesion, I find myself still digging the broken knife into the floor. The monster is gone, but pieces of it are scattered everywhere. I stop cutting into the tile. In the sudden silence, I hear Saya's faint sobs coming from the corner of the kitchen. Saya. Saya. Of all pull the cowering Saya into my arms. She stiffens in fear at first. But as soon as she realizes that it's me, she clings into my body and cries.
怖かったよ。
I don't know what to say. I can only keep holding her. This should have never happened to Saya. Everything in this twisted world is to blame. Yes, including myself. I couldn't protect her. If I'd been here, then maybe I could have prevented this.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
She says again and again in a voice choked with tears. Not wanting to hear that from her. I pulled my head into I pulled her head into my chest.
サヤのせいじゃない。
Don't say that, Saya. It's not your fault. I try to reassure her, but she shakes her head vigorously in denial.
違うの。私がやったの。
No, it is. I did it. I don't understand. What is she saying?
君がやったって何を？
You did what?
私、この人の脳をいじったの。この人の頭の中を文則と同じ状態にして、文則が感じるのと同じように世界が見えるようにしたの。
I messed with his brain, she answers, glancing at the dismembered monster with her swollen eyes. I made the inside of his brain the same as yours. I made him see the world like you do. It takes me some time to understand the meaning of Saya's
それ
words.
は一体
What?
どうやって？
How? Finally regaining her composure, Saya responds to my confusion in a low
私
voice.
にはそういうことができるの。他の生き物の体を組み替えたり、調整したり。
I can do stuff like that. I can change the bodies of other living things.
私に生まれつき備わってる能力なの。
I've had this ability since I was born.
どこをどういじればいいのか
Every
は
organism is
その
different.
生き物によってまちまちだから、ちゃんと勉強してからでないとダメだけど、
So I have to study them in detail before I know how to change
み
them.
のりの脳に何があったのか、私は下調べして分かってたか
By doing some research, I figured out what happened to your
ら。
brain.
だから同じことができるかどうか、他の人で実験してみたの。
So I wanted to see if I could do the same thing to someone
なんで
else.
そんなことを？
But why?
そうすればみんな、ふみのりみたいに私に優しくしてくれるようになるかと思って。
I thought if everybody were like you, they would all be kind to me. The heart aches at the loneliness in her voice as she confessed her sorrowful wish. Oh,
それなのにこの人は全然優しくなんかなかった。
but that man, he wasn't kind at all.
さやのことをいじめたいって壊したいって言って、あんな。
He said he wanted to hurt me, break me, and She starts crying into my chest again, unable to say any more. I gently rub her back while trying to get my jumbled thoughts together. What is Saya that she can do such a thing? The answer is beyond me. However, there's one thing that I can answer, here and now. Saya's
僕が
mistaken.
サヤに優しいのは僕が事故に遭ったからだって、そう君は思ったんだね。
I think I'm kind to you because of the accident. Yeah. She nods sadly. I smile and shake my
違
head.
うよ。それはただの始まりでしかない。
You're wrong. That was only the beginning.
そんな簡単なことじゃないんだよ。
That relationship is the sum of so much more.
僕とサヤが出会って、それから二人で過ごした時間の、その一日一日の積み重ねが、今の僕らの関係を作ってるんだ。わかるかい？
Our relationship is the sum of so much more. The time you and I have spent together, those days, those experiences, are what made us what we are.
ふみのり。
あの日から今日までサヤと一緒にいた僕だから、サヤに優しくして大切にしてあげたいって。
You've been there for me, Saya, sharing my pain, giving me hope and joy.
そう思う僕になった。そう思われるサヤになったんだ。
That's how you became so important to me.
大変なことだろう。
It's harder than you think. Saya is still crying, but now her tears feel warm against my chest.
分かってる。
Yeah,
さっきやっと分かった。
I understand. I finally understand. Her smile shines through her
さや
tears.
には文則しかいないんだって。文則みたいな人はもう他に誰もいないんだって。
I only have you, Fuminori. There will be no one else. Now, more than ever, I feel the depth of the bond between us. And I'm sure that Saya feels it too. I wrap my arms tightly around her and seal her lips in mine. Saya responds, winding her arms around my neck as our tongues desperately seek each other's warmth. At this moment, Saya is my whole world, and I am hers. The earth turns for us alone. Of course, I still haven't told her something very important. I don't know why I've never said it before. Perhaps because it was always so obvious. However I should put it, at least once, this all the mine. Bob and I, Kai, and everybody else, welcome.
Say raid of 8 from Kaineko. Pog.
Good to see you all. It's the cat. Ah, Star Romantic. Speaking of such. We
Star
are watching something
Romantic.
Very romantic indeed.
Welcome,
Mhm.
new
Good to see you
accomplice.
guys.
Your sins are absolved in this realm. Enjoy the chaotic
And
journey
Becky
ahead.
has reached the follower goal
Get
as
it
well.
twisted.
We love to see it. And just like Mia says, it is in fact a mind-bending journey. So yeah, if you're looking for a romantic, this might be it. What? Mia, don't be mean to our readers. Come on. But yes, this might be I mean, it's gonna be a lot more wholesome, a lot more tame than Wuthering Waves was, but I hope you enjoy with us while you're still here.
さや、僕は君のことが
Flesh monster. Not romantic at all. Saya,
待って。
wait. She stops me with a finger against my lips.
その前に文則、一つだけ確かめさせて。
Before that,
あなた
Fuminori,
の望みを。
tell me one thing. What do you want?
僕の望み
What do I want? Saya nods, staring into my eyes with unusual solemnity.
さっきも言ったけど、私には私にしかできない方法で生き物の体に干渉できる。
Like he said, I can affect the bodies of living things in a way that nothing else
人
can.
間の脳をいじる方法もこれでちゃんと確認が取れたわ。だから
Now that I've learned how to manipulate human brains. Saya pauses and takes a deep breath before
今
continuing.
ならあなたの頭を元の状態に戻すこともできるの。
I can turn you back to
な
normal.
んだって
What? Until now, that hasn't even been in the realm of
その人
possibility.
にやったのと逆のことを文則にしてあげればいいだけ。とっても簡単なことよ。
I just have to do the opposite of what I did to that man. It's really simple. I replay Saya's words in my head just to be sure of their
だ
meaning.
から文則教えて。
So tell me,
あ
Fuminori,
なたが昔の暮らしに戻りたいかどうか。
no? First, wait, how do I why won't it let me save some more?
事故で失ったものを取り戻したいのかどうか。
Do you want to return to your own life? You want me to take you back what you lost in the accident? Oh no. Well, this is what I would say, so I'm gonna go the opposite just to see what it's like.
そりゃもちろん戻れるっていうのなら元
Of
に戻り
course,
たいと
I answered without thinking. If it's possible to go back, then I want to, I think. I never wondered if there could be any other answer. I stopped dwelling on this question a long time ago, and I'd been asked before I met Saya. I wouldn't have hesitated. But what about now? What does it mean to wish for the past? And what could it do to me and Saya? As these questions occurred to me, my true feelings become unclear. The hurried answer I just gave her was less certain than I thought.
そう
Oh, yeah,
そうよね
of
当たり
course
前よね
you would. Saya smiled softly, her expression an unreadable mixture of what seems to be sorrow and relief. Seeing it fills me with sudden unease, as though I've just wounded her deeply with my careless
な
words.
さや僕は
Hey, Saya,
いいの文則
it's okay, but
もう
Minori,
何も言わないで
don't say anymore. Saya silenced me with another kiss and thrust her tongue into my mouth with even greater passion before. As the sweet softness of her tongue clouds my mind, I began to feel an urgent need to say what prevented me from saying, to speak those most important words.
さや
Saya, I can't speak. For some reason, and my mind is hazy. My consciousness is slipping away as the euphoria from her kiss spreads to my
おや
entire
すみ
body.
なさい文則
Simple, Fuminori. I hear Saya whisper softly from far
心
away.
配しないで
Don't
次
worry.
に目が覚める時には
When you wake up,
何もかもが終わっているから
it'll all be over. No, I don't want it to be over. No. Wait. I have to tell you something before I sleep. Just one thing. My efforts were meaningless. However, as oblivion calls me to its embrace. No. When I awoke, the first thing that greeted me was a terrible stink. Mr. Suzumi's body was covered in flies, and I could smell the rotten stench that you would expect from a corpse. The night had ended, but Saya was nowhere to be seen in the morning light. Aside from the blood-covered floor, the kitchen looked the same as it had been before the incident. In the den, however, the colors had been as soothing, for it now served as a stark reminder of a distant world I'd been living in. Despite knowing that it would be futile, I wandered the house searching for Saya. For almost an hour, I tried in vain to deny reality. Then I called the police. When the operator answered, I couldn't stop myself from crying. It had been such a long time I'd heard a human voice other than Saya's. As became clear later, Mr. Suzumi had murdered his family before I killed him. Unable to give a satisfactory explanation, I was arrested for all 3 murders. When they found the remains of the Takehata Omi in my house, a 4th was added to the charges. During my interrogation, I told them everything exactly as it happened, in every detail. The detectives didn't believe me, of course, but the doctor who came later did. He had moved me from a jail to a much cleaner white room. That's right. This room looks just as white to me as it does to everybody else. In the end, they declared me incapable of answering for my actions. Everything that had happened to me was real, a part of a reality and compatible with the rest of the world. So the doctors gave me a space all to myself, a place where I could live in my own world. I'm sad that I wasn't believed, but I know it couldn't be helped. In this world, reality is what the majority says it is, and I had the misfortune to step outside of that box. The walls of my room are undeniably white, and at least I can be thankful as I live out the rest of my life here. Everyone said that there was never any girl named Saya. Well, so be it. Saya never was part of their world. There's no streamer named Nico. There never was, guys. Oh, why shouldn't I be able to hear Saya's voice here, in my room? This is my world, after all, a continuation of the very real time that we spent together. How long did I wait with such thoughts floating through my mind? One night, I awoke to the sound of something crawling down the hallway. The sound would not normally have woken me, but I must have had a premonition that night. Sleeping lighter than usual, I had waited for her arrival. And so I knew instantly that it was her. Fiction is a fictional construct and I don't want to be fixed. Me neither. Saya. She did not answer, but I could feel her outside my door, struggling with some internal conflict.
どうして声を聞かせてくれないんだ?
Why won't you let me hear your voice? There was no stream, but what stream are you talking about? After a long silence, something small slid through the narrow bars of my peephole. It was a cell phone, and the screen already showing a notepad with freshly entered text. My voice will sound strange to you. I couldn't suppress a chuckle at Saya's uncharacteristic display of shyness.
そんなこと、僕は全然気にならないよ。君の声が聞きたい。姿が見たい。
I don't care about that now, I said, sending the phone back through the bars. I just want to see you, hear you. After a short pause, the phone returned to my side. Please, let me stay the Saya you remember.
そうか。
Okay. I started to suspect that it might be so. In the hell? My eyes had made up the world. Saya alone looked normal. I thought that she was somehow unique. In truth, however, she had probably been a different kind of unique than I'd imagined. It wasn't that my senses hadn't distorted her appearance, but that she had been so unusual as to seem normal in my twisted mind. No! Its true form was something other than what I'd known. Now, however, I could see her as she really was. And Saya didn't want that. It was not for me to question the workings of her heart. I just had to accept that girls need to keep some things private.
あの日君に言おうとしてたこと、保留になってたの。
I tried to say something to you that day. Do you remember? I slid the phone back to her. I was hoping you'd forgotten. I smiled wryly at the text next to the screen, wondering if she really thought me so heartless.
忘れたりするもんか。
How could I forget? No one was listening, but still, it would have been embarrassing to speak the rest aloud. So I typed this into the phone. I slid the phone back through the slot. I could sense her trembling outside my door. I couldn't hear her or see her, but still, I knew. Saya was crying.
僕は構わなかったんだよ。
I was ready, you know. Perhaps the words offered no comfort, spoken so late. Even so, I was ready. I wanted to return to my old life too, but I would have abandoned that wish for Saya. I knew that I would have gone with her, hand in hand as far as we could, even to the most forbidden of places. Saya too must have known that I was prepared, and because she knew, she stopped me from saying those words. If I'd spoken that oath, there would have been no going back. I'm sorry. I was a coward. Seeing the words on the screen, I shook my
君
head.
だけが悪いんじゃない。あの時僕に迷いがなければ、
It's
君だ
not
って
your
勇
fault.
気を出せた。
If I hadn't hesitated, you'd have found the courage. I was afraid of you, of how you were changing because
仕
of me.
方ないさ。
It's no one's fault. Saya couldn't bring herself to take everything from me, and I couldn't bring myself to give up everything for her. We were too weak to
さや
find
はこれから
happiness.
どうするんだい。
What will you do now, Saya? I'll keep searching for my dad. They'll know where to send me back to where I came from. I see.
帰りたいんだね。
You do want to go home, don't you? Thus, the short time passed with no words or messages exchanged. I wonder how many times in that brief silence yes and no changed places in her mind. Yeah. When the phone finally returned, the characters on the screen seemed strangely uncertain.
お父さん、
Well,
見つかるといいね。
I hope you find your father. I'll do my best. The time had come for our parting. She had chosen her path, and I had given my blessing. There was nothing more to be said.
もしも気が変わったら、
If you
僕は
change
ず
your
っとこ
mind,
こにいるから、
I'll always be
い
here.
つでも来ていいからね。
You can come see me whenever you want. I will. Thank you. Goodbye, Fuminori. I read her final message and returned the phone to the other side.
さや、
Goodbye, Saya. She gently slapped my door in response, and then I heard the sound of her sliding down the hallway. And I was left alone in the silence of the night. Ever since that day, I have been waiting. Perhaps Saya really did return to where she came from. Perhaps she's still wandering today, looking for her father. And it must be hard. She must be lonely. When she can no longer stand being alone, she will surely return to me. I'm the only one who can comfort her and whisper sweet nothings in her ear. And so I wait, dreaming of her face and her voice. I wait, forever in my wide world. It's the wrong ending. It's not the right ending. That actually hurt to read. No, you can't do this to me. No, Mia, no, we're
Remind
not.
Nico to raid before getting sidetracked. Spread the word. Let's stay focused.
Neo, we're not going right now. Yeah, I need to see more, okay? Unlike this guy, I'm not okay. Riz Studio. You know what? I'm willing to lose it all for Saya right here. I'm willing to lose it all for Saya. You don't understand. This is for Saya. I give everything for Saya. No. That was for Saya. You don't understand. You want to get at me, you. Wrong timeline. No, this is just like you know how your brain gets scrambled. Sage's luck is like on the other side. We're living in one reality. Sage is in the other. Yeah. This is the wrong one. I'm in the white room too. This ain't it. I like this name, Boon Kwan on God. We're going back. We have to go back. I don't need it anymore. Fuck that. On that terrible day when I first opened my eyes after the accident, what would have my answer been? When I think back on this many years from now, well, I wish that my answer today had been different. Doesn't matter. Here, at this moment, there is no doubt in my mind. Who was that? I asked Saya, looking at the unidentified pieces of the monster.
隣の家に住んでたおじさん。名前は知らないけど。
The man living next door. I don't know his name.
鈴さんか。
Mr. Suzumi. He was hardly a stranger. We had been neighbors for as long as I can remember. I go so far as to say we weren't good terms before the accident. And now I've killed him with my own two hands. I feel little. Mr. Suzumi, the kindly painter next door, is but a distant memory. The pieces of meat around me belong to a creature whose mere existence was nauseating. Only by killing the vermin could I find relief. He complained about my yard being filthy. The swine. It didn't matter what Saya did, he wasn't worth keeping alive anyways. After what he did to Saya, that wasn't enough. These are my honest feelings. My hands are wet with another man's blood, and yet I am utterly calm. Now that I know what I lost in the accident, Saya says that I can take it back. I know that I can't. It's gone forever. Like the life of the man called Suzumi. Hey, Saya. No doctor could possibly fix my condition, you know. But Saya says, I can fix him.
文則
Uminori,
人間にできないことを簡単にできるっていう君は
you can do what no human is capable of. You're not human, are you? Saya looks away, her expression unreadable. Everything is monstrous and loathsome in my eyes. Everything but Saya. I thought that she was somehow unique. I was wrong. I see her just as I do everything else, as something other than what she really is. Now why should that surprise me? Saya is part of my world just as I am part of hers. It doesn't change what we are to each other. I stand by and walk over to Suzumi's
昔読
dismembered
んだ漫画
corpse.
でさ、事故から生き返ったせいで世界が当たり前に見えなくなる男の話があった。今の僕みたいにね。
I read this manga once about a man who recovered from an accident, only to find that he could no longer see the world as it was. Kind of like me. I finally realized that even though the stench of these monsters' flesh turns my stomach, their blood and guts smell pretty good. In fact, I know this fragrance quite
そ
well.
の男の目には人間が石くれに、機械のロボットが美女に見えるんだ。
He saw people as rocks, and robots as beautiful
だから
women.
男は人とは似ても似つかないロボットに恋をしてしまうんだ。
And so he fell with something that wasn't remotely human. I retrieved the cleaver, picking up a piece of Suzumi's body and start removing the skin and tendons. Ah, just as I thought. The stuff underneath is exactly as what Sai and I have been eating.
まあ、これうまそうだし食べちゃおうか。
Hey, this looks pretty good. Let's eat it.
文則
Now he is actually aware. He knows. He knows straight up. I like this. This is a good timeline.
ごめん。
Oh,
今
sorry.
はそんな気分になれないよね。
You're in no mood for that, are
で
you?
も死んじゃえば肉は肉だし、捨てるのももったいないと思わないか。
Not that it's
ま
dead.
た冷蔵庫
No,
にしまってお
eat
こう
this
よ。
meat. It'd be a waste to throw it away. We should get it in the
あな
fridge.
たはいいの
Cannibals, no, this is fruit. Is that alright with
いい
you?
よ。
Sure. Answer easily. There's no longer any room for doubt in my
あ
mind.
と、隣の家に奥さんと娘さんがいるはずなんだ。旦那がいなくなったら騒ぐかもしれないし、通報される前に飼っとこうと思うんだが。
Fuminori is like in his based moment right now. This is his. He's all in. I love this. Also, his wife and daughter are probably next door. They might cause trouble when he doesn't come home. We better hunt them down before they go to the police.
そんな風であ なたはいいの？
Miu, you don't know how good this tastes right now. You're getting it twisted, alright? Is that really what you want? Sai asked again, this time with a trace of fear in her voice. I guess I still haven't convinced her of my
さっき
sincerity.
の漫画の話だとね、人でないものを愛した男は最後に自分が人間であることをやめて恋を成就させるんだ。
So at the end of this manga, a man who fell for something inhuman gives up his own humanity for the sake of their
ハ
love.
ッピーエンドだよ。
A happy ending, don't you think?
ふみのり。
Mominori,
さやと一緒にいられるのなら僕はもう何もいらない。
you're all I need
何
now,
もかも
Saya.
このままでいい。
Nothing else matters as long as we're together. Tossing the knife and meat aside, I pull Saya into my arms once more.
言ってもいいよね。さや、君のことを愛してる。
I reject my humanity, Saya. I can say it now, can't I? Saya, I love you. As Saya wipes the tears flowing from her eyes, I can no longer see any hint of fear on her
あなた
face.
のこと後悔させたくないのに。なのに。
I don't want you to regret this. I don't. But I have sworn my oath, and Saya has accepted it. We have nothing to fear now. Saya will never need to cry
で
again.
も嬉しい。私って身勝手だよね。
I can't help it. I'm so happy. I guess I'm pretty selfish, aren't I?
身勝手でいいよ。
I don't
さ
mind.
やのわがままなら聞くよ、僕は。
I'll always indulge your selfishness. Filled with contentment, we exchange a smile and set to the task of cleaning the room. A single person produces a lot more meat than I expected. Speaking of which, I seem to have remembered doing
あ
something
と
similar
の
before.
2人だけど、多分おじさんが殺してる。悲鳴とか聞こえたし。
About his wife and daughter, I think he killed them. I heard their screams.
そりゃ好都合だ。
Well, that makes things easier. After we finish here, we should go gather the meat from the Suzumi house. That should be enough to hold us for a while, and we can use their refrigerator to store what won't fit in ours. It's all coming together. Sai and I will just be fine.
この写真知ってる？
I think I recognize this picture. After we finish our labors and get into bed, I show Saya what I found at Okai's
こ
house.
の一枚見覚えがあるよ。
It looks
確か
familiar.
にさやの知ってる場所。
I've definitely been there. The picture that Saya has selected is the one with Tochigi Prefecture address on the back.
これは家だよね。それと木と山。
That's a house, right? I see trees and mountains.
そう。ふみのりすごいね。写真も見られるようになった？
Wow, yeah. You can see pictures now?
まあね。
A little. At the outset of my ordeal, I had depended entirely on my sense of distance to decipher what I saw. The houses in front of me, the mountains far behind them, the clouds high above. Only in distance and scale told me what they were. Photographs and other flat images used to be nearly impossible to make out. Recently, however, I've gotten better at understanding what things are by their shape. I know what mountains in the sky look like, for instance, and how to tell them apart from buildings. Each of the three pictures shows a similar scene, a lone house in the middle of a thick
パパ
forest.
はね、別荘だって言ってた。ここにいれば誰にも見つからないって。
Dad called it his retreat. He said that no one would find us there. That he is. Judging by the address on the back of each photo, they probably are excellent places to hide from prying eyes. But why 3? The dates are pretty old, and it seems odd that they were all taken within a few days of each other. Maybe he was scouting properties, looking for the perfect location for his hideaway. Saya recognizes only one of the houses. So that must be the one Ogai picked. Checking the location and road map of the Kanto area, I find that it's about 3 hours out of Tokyo by
お父さん
car.
がここにいる可能性は？
Do you think your father will be there?
電話してみたけど出なかったよ。多分いないと思う。
I tried calling him, but he didn't answer. I don't think he's there.
でも最近に立ち寄ったことはあるかもしれないよね。
But he might have stopped by recently. The way I see it, our only hope of finding a guy is to follow wherever the lead we have, no matter how small. The probability that his hideout will yield useful information may be low, but it's not zero.
明日にでも行ってみようかな、ここ。
I think I'll check this place out tomorrow. Do you have to? Saya pouts. I wasn't expecting her
で
to
も
object.
ここ遠いんでしょ？
Isn't it far?
行って調べて帰ってきても、まあ半日もあれば十分さ。
It'll only take half a day to get there, check it out, and come back.
この間、さやはお留守番なの？
I have to stay home by myself while you're gone? So that's what it is. Slightly exasperated, I smile and rub Saya's head. Go ahead and Kai. Just be comfy. Oh, I appreciate you just being here.
少しは我慢してくれよ。な、
Be a little patient,
そやだって
okay?
お父さんのこと見つけたいんだろ
You want me to find your father too, don't you?
うん。
After a brief silence, during which her expression is hard to decipher, Saya looks up at me and
ね
says,
え、ふみのり。パパのことはもういいよ。
Hey Fuminori, let's forget about Dad. Mm-hmm. That's the last thing I expected her to
う。
say.
いいって、でも君のお父さんだろ。
For
心配じゃないのか。
Forget about him, but he's your father. Aren't you worried?
いいの。
Not
私
anymore.
にはもうふみのりがいるし、
Saya says, coming closer to feel my warmth. I have you now.
パパって言っても本当の意味でのお父さんっていうわけじゃないの。
I call him Dad, but he's not really my
さや
father.
のことを教育してくれたし、ある意味では愛してくれてたのかもしれないけど、でもふみのりの方が優しくてあったかい。
He taught me a lot and probably loved me in his own way, but you're kinder and warmer. Saya's words make me happy, but I also hear the loneliness in
本
them.
当に僕だけでもいいのか。
Are you really alright with that?
うん。ふみのりは嫌？さやと二人っきりじゃ。
Yeah. You don't like it being just the two of us?
でも、そうだな。やっぱり大貝教授には会ってみたい。
I do, but I also want to meet Dr. Ogai. Having finally figured out how to explain my feelings, I
さや
continue.
のことをもっとよく知りたいから、僕以外にさやのことを知ってる人がいるなら、ぜひ会ってみたい。
I want to know you better. If there's someone who knows more about you than I do, I have to meet
うー
them.
ん、そうなんだ。
Oh. Saya doesn't seem upset, but she does tilt her head quizzically as though my thoughts are strange to her.
やっぱり明日、この場所に行ってみよ
Then I also want to. Yeah. I'm going to check it out tomorrow. Another plan has started to form in my head, one separate from my search for Dr. Ogai. If I find a doctor there, great. If I don't, well, I think I can find another use for his mountain retreat.
う。寂しいかもしれないけど、ちょっと我慢して待っててくれ。
I know you'll be lonely, but try to bear it for a little while.
やっぱりふみのりにはさ、家族とか友達とかもっともっと大勢いた方がいいのかな。
She nods, then looks questioningly into my eyes. Fuminori, you really want a family and friends, don't you? More people you can spend time with.
そりゃ、その方が楽しいだろうね。
Well, that would be more fun. Yeah. Fearing that Saya will start sulking, I hurriedly
で
add,
も勘違いしないでくれよ。たとえそういう人たちに囲まれて暮らしてたとしても、さやだけは僕にとって特別な一人なんだからね。
but don't get it twisted. Even if I could have lots of friends, you'll always be special to me.
ありがとう。
I know. Thanks. Giggling, Saya rubs her cheek against mine.
さやもふみのりが喜びそうなこと、ふみのりのためだけに頑張るからね。
I'll find something to make you happy. Something just for you. Today, all of Koji's classes were in the morning. On his way to meet Yo for lunch after his final lecture, Koji finally gets a call in the middle of the hallway. Without thinking, he reaches to his belt for his new camera phone, but curses when he realizes that the ringtone is coming from an old phone in his bag. He hasn't transferred his contacts list yet, and calls still come from his old phone from people who don't know the new number. When he finally fishes out the phone from his bag, the number he sees on the display sends a chill up his spine. Fuminori. Why now? What does he want? It's hard to be happy about a call from Fuminori after the incident at the Ogai house. Hey, Koji, you're done with class for today, right? Yeah. Of course Fuminori would know that Koji's free on Thursday afternoons. I need to talk to you about something. Can you come to the parking lot? No. Yeah, I'll be waiting. Fuminori hangs up with another word. What's gone into him? What does he want? Koji wonders as he sticks his phone back into his jacket pocket. The sudden change is disturbing after a week of Fuminori avoiding both Koji and Yo. Maybe he's finally ready to talk, in which case Koji should probably consider this a good thing. However, he can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. Did I keep you waiting? No. In the parking lot, Koji finds Fuminori leaning against the fender of Koji's car. The last time they met was in the darkness of an abandoned house. This is the first time in over a week they have spoken face to face in the light. Perhaps this is why Koji senses something strange in Fuminori's expression. He's not sure what exactly, but something has changed.
I
think I told you before that I'm looking for information on a man named Nagai. Yeah, I got that. Well, it's starting to get complicated. It looks like I can't handle it myself after all. Fuminori seems more relaxed than before. He used to be tense all the time, like he was terrified of something. But now his expression is calm. He's even wearing what resembles a sheepish grin. This is character development if I've ever seen it. I need your help, Koji. Nevertheless, Saminsik is telling Koji that Fuminori's changes are not for the better. Why the sudden change of heart? Koji asks, keeping his expression neutral to conceal his suspicion. You're curious, aren't you? Fuminori responds coolly. His smile, unreadable as ever, offers no glimpse of his true motives. You searched Dr. Ogai's house after me. It's a waste for us to look for him separately. We should team up. Why? Why does he sense malice, thick and viscous, lurking behind Fuminori's smile? Anyway, I need your car today. Mind driving? I guess not. Fuminori's car was destroyed in the accident, so Koji's surprised that he needs a lift. Koji unlocks his car and gestures for Fuminori to take the passenger seat. Then gets behind the wheel and starts the engine. Well, where are we going? North Tochigi, near the Nasu Heights. Tochigi? Koji can't believe his ears. Here's the address, Fuminori says, handing Koji a phone with an address on the back. We need to find this building. Dia, hi, welcome. We had just gone through the non-canon ending, so now we're going through what I believe is the right path. Hello. He seriously expects to be driven over 100 kilometers and back. Koji doesn't know whether to be angry or
今から
impressed.
出発すれば夕方頃には着くだろう。
If we leave now, we should get there by evening, right?
まあそうかもしれんが。
Yeah, maybe. Koji sighs heavily, tapping the steering wheel as he calms himself down. Now that he realizes he's come this far, the only thing he can do is see his friend's craziness through the
別
end.
荘か何かかこれは。
Is this a vacation home or something?
多分そこに
Probably.
大貝教授がい
Dr.
るら
Ogai
しい。
should be there. Koji's been looking forward to meeting the owner of that creepy house. But he's even more uneasy about letting Fuminori go alone. It looks like he just has to grin and
東
bear
京
it.
に戻るのは夜中かもな。
We might not get back until night.
悪いな。
Sorry
So,
for the trouble.
いいさ。
Don't mention it. Koji drives out of the parking lot, leaving the rest of what he thought to say unspoken. You know, despite all this, Koji is a real one. Fuminori's smile seems wrong somehow, like a mask hiding his true face. Yo finds herself sitting alone in the cafeteria, searching for a familiar face as her lunch cools on the table in front of her. She was hoping to see Koji today, but he must have had other plans. That wouldn't be at all unusual. Normally, Omi and Fuminori would pick up the slack, but Omi and Fuminori aren't here anymore. Yo puts down her chopsticks, her appetite ruined by the lack of company, and by the anxiety eating at her. Omi's missing, Fuminori has turned on her, and she has no idea why. If Koji were here, she could count on him to distract her with some idle conversation. Now that she's all by herself, Yo becomes keenly aware of how little tolerance she has for loneliness. She begins to feel paranoid, like her whole world is plotting to take everything from her that she cherishes. What is going on here? Where has Omi gone? Is Fuminori really unrelated to her disappearance? Or is he key to this mystery, as Koji and Dr. Dan would suspect? Yo recalls evenings of last Thursday, alone and without an outlet for her pain after Fuminori verbally eviscerated her. Yo was lucky enough to run into Koji, although he could hardly make her problem go away. His kindness was a comfort. At the same time, Omi was on her way to Fuminori's house, and she hasn't heard from him since. Yo had only been aware of Fuminori's connection to Omi's disappearance since yesterday, when Koji revealed the truth during their visit to the hospital. What if? A new possibility occurs to her. A reason for why Omi suddenly decided to visit Fuminori. What if it hadn't been a coincidence that Yo ran into Koji that day? What if Koji and Omi had known what transpired between her and Fuminori and had decided to act separately? Omi might have seen the confrontation in the courtyard. She might have been eavesdropping. It's not unthinkable. As if the idea forms in her mind, Yo feels as though something is tearing apart her body from the inside. It's only a possibility, but if it's true, then whatever happened to Omi is Yo's responsibility too, isn't it? Yo clutches her head, groaning in agony. The food on her tray is now cold, not that she would have eaten it anyways. Despite her frustration and anxiety, Yo was unable to act on her own. She has never been good at adapting to challenges, and no one would ever call her proactive. She hasn't had the slightest idea how to respond to the situation. If Omi were here, she probably would tell Yo to think positive and trust her instincts. Yo's always dependent on her best friend's energy. Now that Omi is gone, Yo realizes just how weak and useless she is. She can only sink deeper and deeper into the abyss of self-loathing. The sudden ring of her phone pulls her back from the brink of despair. It's a text message. There's no title, and the sender is...
Omi.
Omi? Oh, Yo? Omi? Yo cries out in shock. The message itself is even more baffling. If you want to know about Sakisaka Fuminori, come to his house alone. Tell no one. Duh. Did they? Are they planning some? Are they planning to cross their T's and dot their I's? Hey yo. The message bears no trace of Omi's personality. Yeah, this is a little ominous, am I right? Yo can't deny that it was sent from her phone. She takes a deep breath to calm herself before typing her reply, taking care of that excitement doesn't cause her fingers to slip. And thanks for the like, Sage. Is that you, Omi? Where are you? Yo presses send. The screen shows that her message was received. She waits for a reply, her mind fills with questions. Is someone else using Omi's phone to text messages? If so, why to her? Something suddenly occurs to her. It's wild, Mel. You've been playing the game, Jen. Yeah. Yeah, this is childhood. Damn right. She and Omi have exchanged countless messages over the years, many of which contain the sort of embarrassing confessions that girlfriends share. At times when her feelings for Fuminori grew too strong to contain, he often put them into words for Omi to read. Did Omi put a password on her phone? Even if she had, the person who sent that message was obviously able to unlock it. Which means that whoever it is has full access to her history. Do you want to know about Sakisaka Fuminori? Yo reads the strange message one more time. Whoever sent it must believe Yo has an interest in Fuminori. The phone rings again, startling Yo. She quickly recovers and looks at the screen. There's no title, and the sender is still Takahata Omi. I'll tell you everything when we meet. Come alone. Tell no one. It's not Omi. She would never try to scare Yo with such a mean-spirited prank. Anxiety has brought Yo almost to tears. Her mind isn't able to deal with this. Who is using Omi's phone and promising to reveal Fuminori's secrets? Who? Yo desperately wants advice from Koji, from anyone. She even starts to doubt that Koji's cell, but a sudden suspicion stops her. The sender might be somewhere nearby, watching her at this very moment. A cold chill runs down her spine as she furtively looks around the cafeteria. Come on, tell no one. The lifeless characters on the screen are like a knife against her throat. However, Yo clutches her phone and forces her heart to stop pounding. Isn't this cowardice exactly what she hates most about herself? Doesn't she want to know what she's capable of? Doesn't she want to know more than just sit and wait? Yo realizes that her hand is shaking. How easy it would be to just give in to her cowardice, to convince herself that Omi and Fuminori are beyond her reach. That is what she truly wants. Even if it means abandoning dignity and loyalty, she wants to flee from the unknown. But she also knows that even escape is beyond her. Yo understands her so well. She understands that no matter how far she runs, regret and self-loathing will consume her after everything else has fallen apart. In the end, Yo is unable to overcome her cowardice alone. She lacks both the willpower and the courage to run. The afternoon silence is somehow forbidding. The stink in the air, the stink of garbage left out to rot. Even this perfectly normal residential neighborhood seems ominous to Yo in her current state. She feels like she's standing in the middle of a necropolis, as if everyone in the houses around her is dead. Yo pushes her fear aside and presses the buzzer on the Sakisaka house front gate. Fuminori wasn't in class today. Is he home? He couldn't have sent those awful messages, could he? She doesn't even want to consider the possibility, so she forces the unwelcome thought from her mind. There is no response from the intercom. Yo doesn't know, of course, that Omi stood in the same spot 1 week ago, staring at the silent intercom with the same confusion that Yo is experiencing now. She, however, is not forced to wait as Omi was. The phone in her pocket rings, catching her off guard. It's another text message from Omi's phone. Come in. The door is open. Yo looks around quietly, a shiver running through her as she realizes that she's being watched. Searching fearfully from her observer, Yo spots movement out of the corner of her eye. On the second floor of the Sakisaka house, a tightly drawn window just fluttered. The person who sent the messages is inside the house. Only now does Yo realize that every other window has its storm shutters closed. No matter what happens inside, no one will ever know. This time she nearly gives into the intense urge to flee, but the terror she feels towards her invisible watcher is stronger and will not permit her to turn her back upon the open window. She has nowhere to run. Yo bursts into tears, unable to take a single step. The phone in her hand rings again, demanding that she enter. She steps through the gate. When she enters the house, an overwhelming stench assaults her nostrils. The house is dark even if it's the middle of the day. Fuminori must be out, as his shoes are not in its vestibule. However, Yo catches sight of a different pair stuffed behind the shoe cupboard. They look familiar, so she pulls them out of the shadows for a closer look. As she recognizes them, her mind tries desperately to deny reality. They are identical to Omi's favorite shoes. Yomi has seen her wearing them many times before, but that doesn't mean Omi is here, she tells herself. They belong to someone else. Someone who bought the same shoes from the same store. There's no way Omi could be here, is there? With a sudden flash of clarity, Yo presses the most frequently used speed dial button on her phone in her tightly clenched fist. The phone dials Omi's number. It only takes a second for the signal to reach the nearest relay station, then the familiar ringtone echoes through the house. It's coming from the second floor. Someone must still be up there in the room with the moving curtains. Omi's phone rings for just a few moments and then stops. As whoever is holding it realizes Yo's intentions. For the first time, Yo feels the definite presence of her formless guide. Who's there? She gathers her courage and calls out into the house, but there is no response. Whoever it is must not want to be seen. Swallowing hard, Yo walks down the hallway to the staircase. Maybe it's Omi, maybe it's Fuminori. Surely it's just the two of them playing a prank on her. Koji might even be here with them. Yo's mind fills with comforting images of her friends. She needs to believe that there is still hope. Otherwise, she could not take another step. Is that you, Omi? Fuminori? Are you there? As she climbs the stairs one at a time, Yo calls out in a voice choked with tears. When they see her sobbing, they'll probably laugh at her. Let them. It'll be the happiest moment of her life. She just wants this torment to end. She tries to move faster, but her trembling legs will not let her. With each agonizing second that passes, she begs for release from this nightmare. After climbing for what seems to be an eternity, Yo finds herself standing in the second floor hallway. Arms spaghetti. No sound greets her. There is only the gloom, brimming with silent malice. Omi? Omi, are you there? She shuffles forward, calling out in a weak voice. Come on, Annie, please. I can't take this anymore. The door in front of her is half open. It must lead to the room that overlooks the front gate. Yo watches helplessly from a corner of her mind as her body, seeming to move of its own volition, slowly opens the door. The room is empty. The damp, stinking air clings to Yo's skin. She is at her limit. Unable to take a single step more, her spirit had been utterly crushed. Perhaps this is the moment her tormentor was waiting for. Something grabbed Yziel's arms from behind, something flexible and strong, like slime-covered rubber. As the thing binds her limbs, finger-like appendages tear roughly through her blouse and force their way inside. Yziel screams at the top of her lungs, amazed that she still has the strength to do so. Responding to her distress, primal energy surges through her body as she flails wildly to free herself. However, the grip of the thing behind her remains unbreakable. With escape impossible, you can only scream louder as something cold and wet slips under her bra and wraps itself around her breasts. Her ears are filled with the sound of something slimy sliding over her skin. As the loathsome assault continues, the unimaginable terror threatens to drive Yziel utterly mad. Her throat is already raw from screaming, and now she can't even breathe as she struggles desperately against her attacker. Suddenly, the thing pulls away. Yziel falls to the floor, unable to support her on her unresponsive legs. The creature that grabbed her is still there, lurking in the dark corner of the room. She can feel it watching her, but can't bring herself to turn around. She knows that seeing it will likely destroy the last vestiges of her sanity. From close by, the beep of buttons being pressed. Yziel hears a cheerful electronic sound terribly out of place in this room, and sees the phone in her hand blink calmly as the new text message has arrived. She is powerless to stop herself from reading the characters on the screen. You're pretty, and your breasts are big and soft. I bet they're good for attracting males. Now she has her answer. The messages from Omi's phones were sent by the thing that just mauled her breasts. God. Yziel curls up into a tiny sobbing ball, unable to raise her voice or even move. Oh God. Please save me. The creature makes a burbling sound. Yziel somehow understands that it is laughing at her. That must be how you tempted Fuminori. You tried to steal him from me, didn't you? Thief. Something cold seizes Yziel's ankles and travels slowly up on her legs until it has covered her entire lower body. Some primal female instinct tells her exactly what is going to happen. She'll be powerless to resist a fate worse than death. She pleads, feebly, even though there is no hope that an inhuman creature will be merciful. Please, not that. She hears its bubbling laughter again. The thing is enjoying her sorrow, her despair. Yziel no longer has the strength to resist the monster on top of her. She is only able to shiver in revulsion as the cold, slimy thing covers her body. Her sight grows dim as her mind sinks deeper and deeper into a black, swamp-like abyss. The weight pushes itself between her legs, but it seems so far away. I won't kill you, though her mind is now barely functioning. Yziel hears a whisper inside her head. It's a girl's voice, sweet and sinister, with the cruel innocence of a child gleefully plucking the wings from butterflies. Instead, I'll let you share in our happiness. Rejoice, Yziel. We'll love you to death. The soft voice is a stark contrast to the unyielding strength that drives irresistibly into Yziel's core. That pain is sharp and savage, greater than anything she has ever felt before. It should be unbearable, but there is no longer enough left of Yziel's mind to recognize it as pain. No. While she stares blankly at the thing slithering deeper and deeper into her body, an idle thought floats deeply through her fading consciousness. I've still never been kissed, have I? And I think that'll be a fine place to stop for today. Yeah, I don't think I have more words to say. I think plenty have been said today. Yeah, what a thing to end with. We'll have to definitely see the rest of it by the time we come back here. But I'm sure we're actually approaching the end at this point, so I'll try to see if I can have something prepared after Saya. But thanks again for coming tonight. It was a very wholesome experience that we shared once more. And don't tell Twitch that we were looking at art, okay? I know there's nothing to remember, so having this be like the first thing I see is amazing. I am also feeling all warm and fuzzy on the inside as well. Thank you for coming. Yes, it absolutely was a tasteful piece of art. Let's go ahead and raid Vi. Yeah. We'll do more, don't worry. Okay. You know what to say, my friends. You bet. Send in a Nico raid. Alright, let's go. Let's go.